Hey guys, my name is Toxel, and for my very first video on this channel, I will be playing quite an unusual Pokemon game. The goal of most Pokemon games is to become the very best like no one ever was by becoming the champion of the region. But what if we achieve it by becoming a gym leader? This is Pokemon This Gym of Mine. It's a fan game in which we become a gym leader of a certain city and will strive to become the strongest of them all, trampling the dreams and hopes of those 10-year-olds to become the champion. And of course, this game also has its own unique story with quite a lot of plot twists which will be uncovered later on. Without further ado, let's jump right into action. First, we need to pick a type that we would represent. With my favorite Pokemon being Garchomp, I decided to be a dragon type gym leader. Although I liked all the starters, of course, I would pick my soon-to-be channel mascot. After naming him Fafnir, we arrived to the island where I will be the gym leader. We were greeted by the mayor of the town and asked us to follow him. It seems like some residents here have a problem with me and asked me for a battle which I will not turn down since it's free XP. After reaching the town, I head straight to where my gym is and found the mayor in front of it. There's nothing much happened other than the fact that he's floating while guiding me to my residence. Inside the house, there is a box which contained the signature move of my gym, Dragon Claw, which is an 80 base power move, so it would definitely wreck those early challengers. After that, I decided to visit Town Hall, which is blocked by a thug saying that the city is now renamed as Garbage City and that everything belongs to their group, Rough Riders now. Well, I don't know about you, but that's a pretty lame name, you ask me. He's also telling the citizens to drive me out of town as soon as possible, and told me not to stare at him, not knowing I am the gym leader and tried to battle me. He starts off with a level 4 Poochyena against my level 6 Fafnir. It's not really that hard of a battle since all I had to do is click Dragon Claw and that's it. His next Pokemon is Scraggy, which is quite bulky as it tanks the Dragon Claw and hit me with a payback that deals half of my health. I outspeed, so I tried to finish it next turn, but he uses a potion, just prolonging the inevitable loss for him. After driving him away, I decided to talk with everyone and found this guy, which let me buy blueprints for buildings to help me flourish the city and get some passive income. Then, the mayor explains to me the rules of managing a gym. I am allowed to use a different typing as long as they could learn my signature move. Isn't that great for you, Charizard? Well, not you though, Gyarados. Also, there's a limit of 2, so I need to catch real dragon types for the rest of my team. It also seems like I need to recruit my own gym trainers, so I need to check my mail every time. After talking with the mayor, I went and checked my mailbox and saw the applications for gym guides. There are 3 of them and they will decide how hard your battles are gonna be. First off is Gym Guy, which is the normal mode one. Next is the Old Guy, which would be the easy mode, but at the cost of not gaining that much reputation. Lastly would be the Gym Girl, which would be the hard mode, but you will gain reputation faster. As this was my first playthrough, I decided to go with normal mode as I have no idea how strong the challengers would be. After resting for the night, it is time to visit the gym. Here we were introduced to 2 of the gym trainers, Jimmy and Sandy. And I must say, they really don't like me here. They do have their reason, since the last gym leader just left them hanging. And after the long speech of Gym Guy, I decided to start building up my team. At this point, I didn't really know that there is a place to catch dragon types, so I just went ahead and tried to catch some Pokemon that could learn Dragon Claw. After looking for a while, I found this different looking Aron. I was curious if it has a different typing, so I caught it, since I know Agron can learn Dragon Claw later on. And to my surprise, it is a Steel Dragon type, which is really great since I love Agron, and it will definitely help us deal with fairy types. I named her Tiamat and proceed further to the cave. I found a house just outside of it and talked to the lady inside. I answered her questions randomly, but I learned later on that she's actually giving out starters based on your answer. I luckily got Charmander, and although it is not a dragon type, I can teach it Dragon Claws still, so this would complete my qualifications as a gym leader. I named him Brunhart. After some training, Brunhart evolved into Charmeleon right away. I decided to start my gym battles after reaching level 16 on all my Pokemon. And for my first battle, I was challenged by a bug catcher named Bill. He sends out a level 8 Caterpie and I already know that this would be a one-sided massacre. I intended to overlevel quite a bit because I thought I would face some scary trainers, but well, this is just the first one anyway. Nope. Every battle was a Dragon Claw sweep by Fafnir. It's not even worth including in the video. I kinda overestimated the normal mode at this point, but I don't really know how hard the hard mode either, so I guess that's that. After closing up the gym, I have the option to go to the break room. I guess this is like an employee lounge, so it's quite nice. After resting for the night, I decided to check on the building blueprints that could help the town prosper and earn me some money. And bro, I've never felt poorer than I am right now. So I just decided to head to the gym and call it a day. The next morning, the gym guy came knocking at my door saying that the mayor is looking for me. So I went ahead and paid him a visit. It seems that I've been making quite a name, so he wants to congratulate me when suddenly this girl interrupted our talk. She's saying she wants to test me because she doesn't want another incompetent gym leader. I went ahead and accept her challenge to prove that I'm a better gym leader. She leads with a Clefairy, so I sent out Fafnir. She's using quite a good team, but Fafnir is 10 levels higher than any of her Pokemon, so once again, it's pretty much a sweep. She seems to recognize my strength after that, but still threatened me right after. The next day, the mayor called me to say that I have been recognized as an official gym leader. To be honest, I didn't know that was just the tutorial phase, so I'm quite past the level requirement, Mr. Mayor, sir. Sorry. After exploring some more, I found the sailors selling all the fishing rods for free. Nice business you got there, sir. I tried fishing in a nearby pond, hoping for a Jatini or Horsey, but I haven't found one. After battling some trainers, Fafnir reached level 24 and evolved into a Gabite. While looking for some new encounters, I finally found the Dragon's Den. In here, I caught a Drampa, which I named Granny, a Jodigon named Drago, a Jangmo-O I named Skull, an Axew I named Echidna, a Dratini I named Smog, and a Dreepy I named Nidog. With this whole new set of dragons, I went ahead and faced some new challengers. Since I did overlevel from the start, I decided to not train that much this time. And the level of the challengers Pokemon did increase to at least level 15, but they're still not that much of a challenge, so I'll just skip the day again. The next day, I decided to buy a building plan since I've earned enough to buy one. I built it beside the town hall so it would be placed on the center. After that, I went and explored some caves and found some useful items and new encounters, like a Turtonator which I named Fatalis, and the Larvitar I named Gaia. After the job at the gym and hanging out with my trainers, the mayor called me and increased my gym rank, but we were interrupted by some goons taking revenge and battled me. I start off with a Scraggy as I send out Skull. He outspeeds with Brick Break as I set up with Work Up. He uses Headbutt as I decided to work up once more since I know I could tank another. I tried to Dragon Claw but I got flinched by the Headbutt, so talk about annoying. I decided to just heal since I also want to train Skull, but I decided to use Brick Break taking down my Jangmo-O. And to add insult into injury, his Scraggy has Moxie which boosts its attack. I sent out Fafnir and one-shot it with Dragon Claw. It would be a Fafnir sweep once more at this point, but it took quite long since they started spamming super potions. After that fight, I unlocked the commercial district and Bliss the Bliss trainer, which would help us with levels. I kinda overdid the training by picking 6 Blazes, so most of my Pokemon evolved. Tiamat evolved into a Lyron, Bruneheart to Charizard, and Smog to a Dragonair. Imagine fighting a second gym that has a level 36 Pokemon. After fighting gym challengers, Skull also evolved into a Hakumo-O, further strengthening our team. And it seems like I found pleasure in wrecking gym challengers and decided to level up and evolve some more, with Tiamat becoming Aggron and Echidna becoming Fracture. And I'm not sure if what I did was illegal, but I got kidnapped right after I got home. Seems like these ruffians took it to heart when I defeated them. Although they're still quite humane since they left me with some food and water through this girl. So I decided to scam her and took as much items as I could but before defeating her and getting out. After cleaning them up, I was greeted by the mayor right outside with Gym Guy. So while we're talking, we were once again interrupted by someone, and this time, it's the leader of the ruffians, Edgar. He was trying to defend their group that they would never kidnap someone. Or at least he wouldn't. Tell that to your gang, stupid. Right after that, we were promoted to Gym Rank 3 and unlocked Vacation. Well, I never really got to use this vacation though. Am I workaholic? Anyway, I decided to train the next day and most of my Pokemon is now fully evolved. Fafnir is now a Garchomp and Skull is now a Como-O. The level jump on the challengers is quite surprising. They are now using level 37 Pokemon, which makes my overleveling quite reasonable since I came here to trample on their dreams of becoming a champion. After my shift at the gym, I found a random letter in my house. It turns out to be Edgar, the leader of the Rough Riders. He wants to challenge me in a battle to prove who will be the better leader of the town. He seems quite an honorable guy, so I accepted his challenge, even agreeing to not tell someone about it. On my way to the meeting place, Echidna finally evolves into a Haxorus, giving us another fully evolved dragon. So after Edgar's rant about how he started off everything, we started the battle. He leads with Aggron as I send out Smog. Immediately switch out to Fafnir since I won't be dealing any damage on it with the Dragonair. He went for Ironhead that deals quite a lot of damage if it wasn't for leftovers. I use Bulldoze next turn as I haven't got Earthquake yet. The speed debuff doesn't really matter, but the big chunk of damage is really helpful as he uses another Ironhead. He heals next turn, which is quite annoying, but another Bulldoze brought him to less than half. He then heals again, which I realize is also good for me since this is only his first Pokemon and he already wasted a lot. After 3 more turns, I finally brought down his Aggron, making him send an underleveled Tyranitar next. I stayed in as to not have my other Pokemon get damage from Sandstorm. After 2 Bulldozes, his Tyranitar is down and he sends out a Hydreigon, which is also massively underleveled, so I'm really wondering what legal methods this guy is using. Fafnir is a lot stronger and faster, so 1 Dragon Claw is enough. He then sends out a Salamence, making me realize that this is actually a battle between Dragon Tamers. Due to Intimidate, I wasn't able to one-shot it with Dragon Claw, but for some reason it just uses Flare Blitz, which didn't do that much damage and even does recoil, almost taking it out. I used Dragon Breath next turn to finish it off as he sends out his own Garchomp. Fafnir managed to get a crit on Dragon Claw, so it didn't even become a showdown. He sends out Metagross as his last, so I guess he's not really a Dragon Tamer and just using some big, intimidating Pokemon. It's almost all pseudo-legendaries. I sent out Poonheart and end the fight with 2 Flamethrowers. After defeating Edgar, we finally reached Gym Rank 4, making our opponents even stronger. When we finish our shift for the day, Gym Guy had a little request for me. He wants to get an Ice Rock from the Icebound Pit. Since he's a pretty hard worker, I accepted this quest. It turns out that this is actually for his niece, who wanted to be an Ice-type gym leader, and he gives us a big nugget for the trouble and tons of reputation points. After a little bit of training, I finally evolved Smog into a Beastly Dragonite, completing our team of fully evolved dragons. The next day, the champion decided to visit my gym for a champion review. He wants to battle me to check how strong I am, or to just show off. He sends off a Smeltix, which is the evolved form of this region's Onix, as he sent out Fafnir. Since this one is a Fire Rock type, I went for Dig as he went for Earthquake, dealing a sizable amount of damage. It doesn't really matter since I one-shotted it anyway. He then sent out a Cherim as I swap into Charizard. It's a steel type, so Flamethrowers still deal a lot of damage and get a burn. He just decided to use Solar Beam, meaning I could finish it off with another Flamethrower next turn. His third Pokemon is a Gengar as I sent out Fafnir once more. I didn't want to risk it having Levitate, so I just went for Crunch and still one-shot it. He next sent out his B-Sharp and I decided to stay in with Fafnir. I went for Bulldoze hoping it would be enough, but it barely survives the hit. And because of the speed debuff, it activated Defiant, which boosted its attack by 2 as it retaliated with Iron Head, leaving us at 18 HP before leftovers recovery. I do know he's healing next turn, so I just went for another Bulldoze even if it activates Defiant, and he heals once more as I click another Bulldoze. I was confident with it not having priority moves, so I went ahead for another Bulldoze as he heals again, but this time I got a high roll and finally defeated it. Those healing turns also helped me recover a lot from leftovers, but it wouldn't really take that long if I just used Dig the first turn. What a noob I am. He next sent out a Haxorus as I sent out my own just to prove that mine is superior. And never mind, his Haxorus is faster. I sent out Skull since he's one of my strongest and he's still faster. Luckily, Skull tanked it like champ and finished it off with 1 Dragon Claw. He then sends out another Gengar as I sent out Fafnir once more. I outspeed with Crunch and did so little as it turns out to be a Zoroark. It uses U-turn for some reason, dealing minimal damage, and I finish it off with Dragon Claw next turn, winning us the battle. As a reward, he promoted us to rank 5 right away. After resting for the night, I received a letter asking me to meet someone at the gym. I went right away and saw a man. It seems like he wants to tell me something important and wants to know if I am worthy of him telling it, so he challenged me into a battle. He starts off with a Wigglytuff as I send out Fafnir. Knowing that it may obliterate me with a Play Rough, I switch into Tiamat right away, since she would only receive neutral damage and can tank with her monstrous defenses. His Wigglytuff uses Play Rough as I expected, but it misses, so I dodge extra damage there. I used Iron Head next turn for a big chunk of damage as he retaliates with a pitiful return. I finish it off next turn with one Iron Head as he did not heal. He sent out Raticate next, as I stay with Tiamat. I use this opportunity to set up Dragon Dances as Raticate can't really hit me with anything. At this point, it became a Tiamat sweep as he is a normal type specialist and can't really hurt Tiamat with anything. As he was ready to spill the beans, we were interrupted by one of my gym trainers. As it turns out, this guy Jason is a previous gym leader of this town. He wants to warn me about something that also happened during his time as a leader. Someone was actually threatening to harm him and the people around him if he continued to be a gym leader. That's why he left the gym so abruptly before. He's now telling me this so I would be ready for whoever comes. He doesn't want to clear his name to the people because he doesn't want to risk the bad guy hearing about it. Jason, you are a true hero. After that, we immediately elevated to rank 6 without even experiencing the battle with rank 4 and 5 trainers. The next day, before starting my duty, I was greeted by Sandy with the news that I am once again ranking up. So much for battling rank 6 trainers, I guess. After the rank up letter, another letter is passed on to me. It was the same threat as what Jason received before. At this point, I kinda have an idea on who's the real villain is, but I'm not sure, so I'll just continue with the story as if I even have any other choice. After working next day, gym guy suddenly came knocking at my door, telling me that he couldn't contact any of my gym trainers. I hurried and told the police and the mayor of what occurred. They said that they have sent out all of their forces to search everywhere except the Badlands, where the Rough Riders hideout is located. I'm kinda curious as to why they didn't search the only place where the villain group is hiding, and why do they need me, one of the victims of the threat, to search there? What if the Rough Riders did it, huh? How are you gonna explain this, Mr. Mayor, sir? After reaching the Badlands, I saw Edgar outside, but it seems like he's also pissed at something. He says that the mayor just barged in and kicked him out. As it turns out, it was the mayor all along. Looks like my suspicions was right. I knew he would do something like this when I first saw him floating around. It seems like Edgar doesn't support the idea of kidnapping my trainers, so the mayor kicked him out. As I confront the mayor, he confessed to us one by one how he deceived me right from the start. He was gonna start explaining why he did it, but Edgar interrupted him, and in no time, he wiped out all of Edgar's Pokemon. And it seems that all of the goons was bought by the mayor, since they didn't really try to help Edgar. And the mayor continued to explain. Apparently, he was a good trainer back then, but didn't really get the recognition he wanted. He wanted to be of great importance and be respected by everyone as a great trainer. But unlike back then, Pokemon trainers are now well respected and getting the attention he dreamed about. Gym leaders are treated like mayors, yet his role seems to be getting overshadowed. After his long speech, he challenged us into a battle so that he could also put me away with my gym trainers after I lost. He starts off with the Dusclops as I sent out Fafnir. I went for Crunch, which dealt below half as he go for Toxic, a very annoying move. He heals right away next turn as I go for Dragon Claw, thinking I would do more damage with Stab, but got disappointed as a crit only dealt below half. I went for Crunch next turn as he goes for Curse, painting his own Pokemon. He then sent out Gudra as I go for Small. One Dragon Rush is enough to take him down as Gudra doesn't really have a good physical defense. He went with his own Dragonite and I stayed in, thinking I could outspeed, but I was hit by a Dragon Claw doing massive damage, leaving Smog with 3 HP as I missed my Dragon Rush. I switched to Tiamat right away to tank a Dragon Claw. I countered with my own Dragon Claw next turn, dealing huge damage as he sets up a Dragon Dance. He then max potioned next turn as I used another Dragon Claw. He did it again next turn as I get a better damage roll, but still didn't manage to defeat it. He then used Fire Punch that dealt a little bit of damage as I finished his Dragonite with a Dragon Claw. He next sent out his Rhydon as I go for Skull. One close combat is not enough, but thankfully, Skull is bulky enough to tank a Stone Edge even after the defense drop. One more close combat is enough to defeat it as he plans to send out his Scizor. I sent out Brunheart and one Flamethrower is enough after tanking a 4 times resisted X-Scizor. His last Pokemon is an Aegislash, so I decided to stay in with Charizard. He went for King Shield the first turn, blocking our Flamethrower. I went for another Flamethrower next turn as he countered with Shadow Claw, dealing massive damage. Thankfully, I outspeed next turn, so one more Flamethrower wins us the battle. After the mayor's mental breakdown, Edgar took his chance to monologue and decided to take responsibility for the actions of his crew. And with that, we finally became the strongest gym leader of the region. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it until the end. If you have suggestions, feel free to leave it on the comments below. And if you want to see more monster taming content, please consider subscribing. If you want to watch me play live, follow me here. And see you on my next video.